You might think your dog curls beside you every night just to stay warm or because they love you. But science is finally revealing a different, much deeper story. Picture this. You lie down, the house goes quiet, and your old friend presses their back against yours. It feels ordinary, just a habit, right? Yet inside your body and theirs, a biological conversation is taking place that you can't see. Heartbeats sync, breathing aligns, and even your stress hormones begin to shift in ways that could save your life or quietly disrupt it. What is the real cost and the real gift of sharing your bed every single night? In this video, we are going to uncover the hidden science, the profound healing comfort, and one silent risk that most people never see coming until it's too late. Stay with me, because what happens between you and your dog in the dark is far more powerful than you've ever imagined. Let's begin where every night begins at the edge of the bed, where habit meets instinct and a silent ritual unfolds. Every night has a rhythm, doesn't it? For some, it's the hum of a television fading into static. For others, it's the creak of an empty house settling into silence. But for men like you, and men like me, the night truly begins when a dog climbs onto the bed, circles 3 times, and claims his place. It is always the same spot, always the same heavy sigh, as if he has rehearsed this ritual for a lifetime. You might think it is nothing more than a cute routine, but trust me, it is older than habit. It is instinct written into his very bones. Imagine for a moment the way wolves once huddled together under a vast open sky without fire. They leaned on each other body against body, not just for warmth, but for survival against the dark. When your dog presses against your leg tonight, he is echoing that ancient memory. He is saying, "You are my pack. You are the one I trust to guard my helpless hours." And in that moment, the room changes. What was just a bed becomes a fortress. What was just rest becomes communion. Researchers at Canisius College in Buffalo discovered a fascinating statistic. Nearly 70% of dog owners share their bed or bedroom with their dogs. At first glance, this looks like simple comfort. We just like them near us. But here is the twist. It is not only about you finding peace. It is about your dog anchoring his entire world to yours night after night, until his heartbeat and yours move in quiet agreement. You don't even notice it happening. You are asleep, but your body notices. Your nervous system notices. And yet here is where curiosity pulls us deeper. If something so simple, so tender, can bind you and your dog in this invisible way, what else is happening while you sleep? Is it only comfort? Or is there something more? Something shaping your mind, your emotions, your very health in ways you haven't considered? Stay with me, because the answer may surprise you. And before long, you will see that this ritual you thought was harmless routine carries a secret weight, one that most people never realize until it is already part of their nights. So let's keep going, because what feels like love and habit at the surface is about to open into something far more powerful. 2. The science of heartbeats and healing. The invisible lullaby. Have you ever noticed how your breathing changes when your dog settles against you? At first, you might be restless shifting, maybe carrying the heavy weight of the day on your shoulders. Your mind is racing with tomorrow's problems. But then you feel it. His chest rises and falls in that steady, hypnotic rhythm. Thump, 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 thump. And before you know it, you are following his lead, as if your body has surrendered to his silent lullaby. This isn't just poetic language. It is hard biology. Researchers have found a phenomenon that feels almost magical when dogs sleep beside their humans. Their heartbeats and breathing patterns often begin to sync. It is as if the two of you become instruments in the same quiet song, keeping time together without a conductor. Think about what that truly means. Every sigh you release, every breath you take is mirrored by him. And in return, his body mirrors yours. It is not just proximity. It is proof of a connection so deep it bypasses the conscious mind. It is a bond written not in words, but in pulses and breaths. For a man lying in bed after years of loss, or for a veteran carrying memories he never speaks aloud, this sinking feels like salvation. It is proof that he is not alone in the dark. The dog becomes more than a pet. He becomes a partner in survival, holding the night steady when the world feels shaky. Science calls this emotional co-regulation, a term that sounds clinical and cold. But let me tell you what it really means. It means that when you are anxious, his calm brings you down. When you are weary, his presence steadies you. It is a kind of healing without hands medicine, without pills. It is the transfer of peace from one species to another. And if you have ever felt your dog's warmth settle you into sleep after hours of tossing and turning, you have already lived this truth. You know the power of it. But here is where the story grows even more intriguing. If sinking heartbeats and rhythms can bring comfort to the restless, what else might it be doing? Could it touch the deeper places? Could it soothe your memories, your anxiety, even the nightmares you never talk about? Stay with me, because the next chapter of this science reveals something extraordinary, how a dog at your side can quiet storms that even medication cannot reach. And to see that we need to step into the world of men who carry heavier nights than most men who have found their dogs not just as companions, but as therapy. 3. The comfort that calms anxiety, the guardian of dreams. The night can be a difficult time for many. Some men turn to a pill bottle when the silence gets too loud and the night feels too long. Others stare at the ceiling waiting for dawn. But others simply reach out their hand into the darkness, and a dog climbs onto the bed. The difference may seem small, a pill versus a paw, but for those who have lived through trauma, that difference is everything. Imagine a veteran who has carried memories from war for decades. Long after the battlefield has gone quiet, the battles inside him rage on the moment he closes his eyes. Sleep is not a friend, it is a threat. But then a dog trained or not curls up at his side. And suddenly the fear of sleep, the fear of what dreams might come, begins to fade. Clinical studies have shown this isn't just a feeling or a placebo. In veterans with PTSD, sleeping with a service dog has been linked to fewer nightmares, less fear of falling asleep, and even a significant reduction in nighttime panic attacks. It is as if the dog becomes a sentinel, standing guard at the edge of sleep, silently promising, "You can rest. I will watch the perimeter. I'll be here when you wake." For men who live alone after the loss of a partner, this presence can feel like the only anchor keeping them from drifting too far into the dark sea of loneliness. Think of it this way. Your mind wired to expect danger or to dwell on sorrow is soothed by his calm. His heartbeat, his body heat, his unshakable rhythm all work together like a living medicine. Not the kind that dulls you or numbs you, but the kind that steadies you. And in those hours when silence can feel unbearable, his quiet breathing fills the emptiness with something far more healing than words. He is saying, "I am here. We are here." But here is the twist, the part you may not have considered. If a dog's presence can dissolve fear and chase away nightmares, what happens when that very same presence starts shaping your sleep in ways you don't notice? Could the comfort you depend on carry an unseen cost? It is a question most men never ask until one day they wake up groggy, restless, wondering why their nights no longer refresh them. They blame it on age. They blame it on the mattress. That is the paradox we are about to uncover. Because while a dog can be the best therapy you will ever find, his closeness may also be quietly reshaping the quality of your rest. And to understand that we need to look at the hidden flip side of comfort, the part of the story no one likes to tell, but everyone needs to hear. 4. The flip side. When comfort costs sleep. The micro-awakenings. Comfort has a way of disguising itself, doesn't it? It feels good. It feels safe. It wraps around us like a warm blanket. And because of that, we rarely stop to ask what it might be stealing from us. When your dog curls against you, you drift off easier. Yes, that is undeniable. But science shows something else is happening beneath the surface, something invisible to your conscious mind. Researchers using advanced sleep trackers, actigraphy watches, discovered that when dogs share the bed, human sleep efficiency takes a hit. Even the smallest twitch, the softest shuffle, the scratching of an ear at 3 a.m. can nudge you out of deep restorative sleep. You don't remember it. You don't wake up fully and look at the clock. But your brain does. It registers the disturbance. It pulls you from the deep delta waves up into lighter sleep. And by morning you feel the weight of it. You feel a little slower. You call it age. You call it stress. You never suspect the soft, loving body at your side. Imagine it like gentle waves lapping on a shore. Each movement is tiny, almost invisible, but over hours, night after night, they erode the coastline of your rest. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine warns that even subtle disruptions, repeated night after night, year after year, can add up. They lead to sleep fragmentation. This can cause daytime grogginess, memory lapses, irritability, and even long-term health issues like higher blood pressure. And yet here is the catch, the emotional catch. Most people, when asked, report that they sleep better with their dogs. They swear by it. Why? Because emotionally, they do. The feeling of safety and love overshadows the biological disturbance. The comfort masks the true cost of those gentle nudges in the night. Picture a retired truck driver who has shared his bed with a loyal German Shepherd for 10 years. He swears he sleeps soundly. He would fight anyone who said otherwise. But his mornings tell another story, sluggish, unfocused, his body fighting a deficit he can't quite name. He thinks it's just time catching up with him. He doesn't realize that love itself is keeping him from the deep rest his body craves. And here is where the tension sharpens. If the very thing that heals your heart, your dog's presence, may also be tiring your mind, what is the way forward? Do you kick him out? Do you choose the warmth of companionship or the clarity of unbroken rest? Or is there a way to have both? That is the question most men never ask until they can't ignore the toll anymore. Stay with me, because in the next part, we will step into that fragile balance. We will see how to create a bed where both you and your dog can find peace without one stealing from the other. And we will finally close the loop we opened at the start, revealing the hidden risk, the biological risk that every man who sleeps with his dog should know. 5. Creating a bed where both can rest. The middle path. So here we are standing in the middle of the paradox. On one side is the profound comfort of having your dog press close steady as a heartbeat, keeping the ghosts at bay. On the other side is the risk of nights chipped away by tiny disruptions you never notice until the morning feels heavy. The question isn't whether you should let him in your bed. That is a personal choice, a sacred one. The question is how to do it in a way that lets both of you rest without losing what makes those nights sacred. Surveys show that nearly half of dog owners let their dogs sleep directly in the bed under the covers right next to them, while another fifth keep them close by on the floor or in their own designated space. Each choice carries a different balance. A dog at your feet, rather than by your head, might be enough. It gives you the feeling of security the weight is there without them breathing in your face or stealing your pillow. It minimizes the disturbances while keeping the connection. A dog in the same room, on a plush bed of his own, might sync your rhythms without physically nudging you awake every time he dreams of chasing rabbits. And for some men, especially those with older dogs who struggle to jump, adding a ramp or steps can make the ritual safer. It turns bedtime into comfort instead of a struggle, preventing pain for the dog and worry for you. But there is more we need to talk about. The biological reality. Dogs bring their world into yours. They walk on the ground outside. They bring in dust, pollen, bacteria, maybe a flea or two. For most healthy people, that is not a problem. In fact, studies show early exposure to these things can strengthen the immune system. Yet for men with weakened health allergies or compromised immunity, that same closeness can carry risks. What feels like healing could in certain rare cases turn against you. If you have asthma, sleeping with a shedding dog might be the reason you wake up wheezing. And that is the hidden danger I promised from the start. The warmth that soothes can also expose. Still, for the vast majority, the benefits far outweigh the risks. Because what is happening here isn't just physical. It is emotional. It is spiritual. Every night you share with your dog is a thread in a larger story. A story of loyalty, survival, and love that outlives words. For an old man and an old dog, sleep is not just sleep. It is a pact, a promise, a reminder that neither of you faces the night alone. So the real answer isn't a hard yes or no. It is wisdom. It is shaping the bed, shaping the routine. Maybe you wash the sheets more often. Maybe you wipe his paws before he comes up. Maybe you get a bigger bed. You do this so that when you close your eyes, both of you step into rest, not exhaustion. And that balance, that fragile, beautiful balance, is where love becomes sustainable. Which brings us to the end of this journey, where the science fades into something deeper, and the simple act of lying down with your dog becomes the truest language of devotion. So now you see, what seemed like a simple habit, letting your dog curl beside you at night, is anything but simple. It is an ancient ritual carried from the wild into your bedroom. It is a vow of trust, whispered in the dark. It is the reason your heartbeat slows, the reason your mind eases, the reason a man who has lost so much can finally sleep again. But it is also a fragile balance, because the same comfort that heals can quietly erode the depth of your rest if you are not careful. Remember the hidden risk I promised at the beginning? It is this love can blind you to what is happening in your own body. The grogginess you blame on age. The restless nights you think are normal. Sometimes they are just your dog, shifting weight, pulling you out of dreams before they are done. Awareness is everything. Once you see it, you can choose wisely. You can shape your nights, so both of you wake, renewed, not depleted. And maybe that is the greater truth. Dogs don't speak our language. They never will. But every sigh, every shuffle closer, every night they refuse to leave your side. They are writing it in another tongue. They are saying, "You are my pack, you are my safety, you are my family." For older men and older dogs, that is not just comfort, it is survival. So tonight, when you feel that familiar weight against your back, remember what it really means. It is not just routine. It is devotion written into your very sleep. If this message touched you, if it reminded you of the bond you share with your dog, don't let it end here. I want to know about your pack. Please go to the comments right now and type your dog's name. Tell me, do they sleep on the bed or beside it? Let's share the stories of the friends who guard our sleep. And if you want more science, more truth, and more reminders of the love that sleeps right beside you, subscribe to this channel. Together, we will keep uncovering the quiet miracles that live in the bond between man and dog.